Welcome to Jumper. Imagine one brain cell trying to survive a world full of geniuses. Yeah, that's David. Also, it would be really good if I get a feedback from you guys. We start with David Rice. Your average, nobody high school kid who thinks the only way to impress a girl is with a damn snow globe. Yeah, out of all the gifts in the world, this man went with a 2-glass ball that old grannies buy at gas stations. Enter Mark the bully. He calls David a loser, grabs a snow globe, and hurls it onto the frozen river like it's the NBA Finals. Now, a normal person would have said, screw it, and bought another one, but not David. Nope. This clown decides to step onto thin-ass ice to fetch it. Bro was so desperate he basically signed his own death certificate. And of course, the ice cracks. Next thing you know, he's under freezing water, flailing around like a washing machine on spin cycle. But instead of dying like an idiot, man suddenly teleports, just glitches out of the river and reappears soaking wet in the middle of the school library. And that's how David stumbles into the ultimate power, teleportation. Not from destiny, not from fate, but because he was dumb enough to almost drown chasing a snow globe. So after glitching out of a frozen grave, David goes home looking like a wet raccoon. His dad takes one look at him and goes, "What happened to you, boy? You can tell this man gave up on parenting years ago." And David just stares like a goldfish. Goes to his room, but his dad is not done with him, goes after David, but just teleported again to the same library. That's when says, you know what? Screw this dump. He packs a bag, takes the money he's got hidden, doesn't even say goodbye, and takes his sorry ass straight to New York City. No plan, not enough money, just pure teenage confidence and dumb luck. First stop, he goes to a crappy hotel. Next morning he's learning to control it. Didn't he just did that twice already? What are you learning for? How to teleport to the moon or something? Anyways, fuck it. Next stop, the bank. Not to open an account. This clown thinks, hey, why not rob the place? He walks into the bank to take a look at the vault because he can't teleport to a place that he hasn't seen by asking this guard for a bathroom. And since it's a movie, he takes him to bathrooms where the vault is right next to the bathroom. Wow, that is one hell of a dumb movie logic right there. Anyways, David looks at the vault, which coincidentally they were closing at the moment. Now David goes back to his room, takes some stuff, which I don't know why since he'll teleporting right into the vault, misses the vault at first try, destroys the entire bathroom, guess he really liked that bathroom. So now David tries again, teleports in the vault, grabs stacks of cash like it's Monopoly money, and poof! Back to his room. Aren't there supposed to be guards at the bank because he really made a lot of noise there? Next morning we see this guy. His name is Ronald Rocks. Sorry, Ronald Cox. He does not work for NSA. That's fake. He works for a secret organization called Paladins. They hunt people like David. He goes to the bank and asks for the security feed for the past month and names the people who have deposit box in the vault. Fast forward 8 years. David's got everything money can buy except a second brain cell. Next he goes to London. This kid is doing more in a week than my passport ever will in 10 years. He's eating on the Sphinx, chilling on in Fiji like he's Spider-Man, but with commitment issues. On the other hand, Roland catches this poor bastard and stabs him right in the gut. No hesitation, just cold-blooded. And he gets a call, they found David. Now David gets back from his daily world tour and finds Roland already there, which I don't fucking understand. Roland was just on the other side of the damn world, so how the hell is he in New York this fast? And it's the same damn day David went to London, because he's still rocking the exact same clothes. Either Roland really loves that outfit, or this movie just doesn't give a shit about logic. Roland throws a couple questions at him, but David's like, I want to talk to my lawyers. Roland doesn't give two f***s, zaps his ass on the spot. They scrap for a bit, nah, scratch that. Roland beats David's ass like he owes rent. David barely manages to slip out, grabs some cash for the road, and bounces before he ends up in a body bag. To his home, his father notices him teleporting back to his room, runs to talk to him, but David just says 3 words, "You're not crazy," and then f***s off. Then he heads to Millie's place, only to find out she moved out, but still lives nearby and works at a bar. So David rolls up to the bar, and holy shit, he's still the same high school stalker creep. Just when he's about to dip, Mark the bully spots him. I mean, it's been, what, 8 years? And this drunk bastard still recognizes him on the spot. Wasted as a donkey's ass, Mark calls Millie over, saying her high school creep is here. David finally snaps and loses it. The two start scrapping, but David teleports them straight into a bank vault and leaves Mark's sorry ass there. After that, he bounces right back to Millie. He talks to her for a bit and convinces her to go to Rome. Also, we see this new dude, and no, it's not Tom Holland. At first I legit thought it was, but nope, this one's Jamie Bell. Anyway, next thing you know, David and Millie are in Rome, which is even dumber than me thinking I'd go viral with this video. Like, excuse me, David's a fugitive? How the hell is he traveling that easy? Maybe Roland forgot to give the airport people a heads up. Or maybe I'm just a dumbass. Meanwhile, Ronald goes to have a little chat with Mark the bully. He grills him about David, then Mark drops info about David's father and Millie. Back in Rome, David starts creeping up on Millie like a full-on lunatic. The dude's basically auditioning for creepiest person of the year. Next thing you know, they're hooking up because of course, love in the middle of chaos, why not? The very next day, they hit the Coliseum, and surprise dude from bar is tailing them. A cop stops them at the entrance, but David, being a walking plot cheat, just teleports and opens the door right in front of the cop's face. And because this is a movie, and cops have selective blindness, nothing happens. They stroll inside like it's a casual Sunday walk. David's curiosity hits peak nerd mode. He wants to see what's down below, so he teleports again to another door. And guess who's there? Not Tom. He drops the news that he's not the only one who can rob banks without opening doors. Classic movie moment. Then, chaos. They get ambushed by the Paladin dudes. Now here's the logic hole. David and not Tom can teleport, but these Paladin guys can't. So, how the hell did they even get in? Movie physics, baby. Anyway, the fight kicks off. People are swinging their voltage sticks around like it's a medieval rave. Not Tom, being the absolute madman, doesn't bother with zaps, he just grabs them and deletes them. David falls when not Tom teleports away, but not Tom shuts him down with a fuck off and save your girl. David remembers Millie's still there, so he teleports back to her. And of course, she's looking at him respawning out of nowhere like, instead of asking how, she's asking a bunch of dumb questions like, what is he hiding? Classic movie logic. They leave the Coliseum, and magically, now the cops can see them leaving, but not entering, because selective visibility is a thing. Now David is arrested for trespassing, but how the hell do you trespass a public place? Movie laws, who cares? Now David's in the police station, tied to a chair like a total idiot. Some random cop tells him, magistrate will decide what to do with you, and then just leaves the room. Yeah, sure, super secure. Then, plot twist, his mom shows up and hands him the keys and the handcuffs, telling him to just leave. Simple, right? Wrong? David, with maybe one working brain cell, decides the smart move is to go after her first instead of escaping. Genius. He's wrestling with the chair, still somehow ignoring the keys she literally just handed him, when he gets hit by this cop guy. Finally, he manages to open the handcuffs, but wait, he didn't even take the keys with him. So how did he manage to do that? Next, David and Millie hit the airport. David, being the pinnacle of common sense, tells her to go back home alone while he does whatever genius plans he has. Meanwhile, Ronald swings by David's dad's place, asking about David. David's dad drops the classic line, he left home 8 years ago and never came back. Roland, of course, can't help but snoop, sees pictures of David's mom, and we can see confusion on his face. He tells David's dad, if your son ever comes back, give me a call. And the dad? Cold as ice. I'm not selling my son. Yep, that pretty much ends that subplot, or so we hope. David, being incapable of just chilling, goes back to Not Tom, grilling him like a detective on speed. Who is he? Who are the paladins? Why are they after us? Not Tom drops the medieval lore bomb. These guys have been around since the Middle Ages, want us dead, and have been killing our families for fun. Movie villains are thorough like that. Hearing this, David teleports back to his dad and finds him dead on the ground because, of course, suspense. He teleports him to the hospital, and due to selective blindness, the doctor doesn't ask any questions. Perfect. Finally, David goes to Mark, the bully, trying to dig intel. He asks if Ronald visited and what he told him. Mark spills the beans, told Ronald everything, and that's the info dump, folks. So now David goes to see Griffin again, yeah, that's his name, asking for help, like a guy who's been running out of brain cells. Griffin, being peak asshole energy, basically tells him, go fuck yourself, and walks off. Naturally, David, being David, starts trailing him across continents. Is it China? Tokyo? Yeah, it's Tokyo. Geography doesn't matter in this movie. Griffin eventually notices David tagging along and, after a lot of passive-aggressive attitude, finally convinces him to accept help. Then, because this is peak action movie chaos, Griffin steals a car like it's some video game, and suddenly they're in full-on Tokyo drift mode. David? He's shitting himself the entire ride because apparently at 200 miles per hour is the new therapy session. Now David and his new buddy are chilling at the airport waiting for Millie. But of course they forgot to check the flight status because apparently playing GTA Tokyo is more important than basic life skills. Turn out, Millie arrived 4 hours ago and they have zero clue. David decides to hit the bar because priorities, right? A girl's gotta eat. But some random chick tells him Millie isn't there. Naturally, David goes straight to her apartment, teleporting in like a walking violation of personal space, and starts lecturing her on stuff she should have known back in Rome. Millie? Totally shot! She's like, leave me alone, creep. But wait, Roland shows up with his friends. David teleports Millie to Griffin's place to protect her, and now he's losing it. Roland's got some device that keeps the teleport rift open, letting normal humans teleport too. Roland storms through with his squad, David gets zapped into a wall, and Griffin is teleported somewhere else. Just as Roland is about to, we'll see David's insides because movie stakes, Griffin shows up with a flamethrower, sending chaos back through the rift. Roland retreats, Griffin goes after him. Meanwhile, Millie frees David and says, take me back home and leave me alone. Moments later, Griffin comes back with the device that keeps the rift open, because of course the plot demands it. Just before the rift closes, Millie gets sucked back to her apartment. Griffin, now in full let's end everything mode, decides to arm a nuke. He grabs the bomb, the detonator, but since Millie's there, David wisely thinks maybe nuking isn't the best plan. And so begins the ultimate teleport fight. David and Griffin bounce from Rome, the Egypt to Dubai, Tokyo, London, Antarctica, Chechnya, because why not? David, a rookie with maybe one functioning brain cell, manages to survive while Griffin kills paladin guys for fun. David's genius move? Teleports Griffin into an electric tower, goes back to the apartment, and gets zapped by Ronald. Hero logic, he keeps teleporting, somehow moving the entire apartment into a lake first, then to a library, dragging Ronald along, and basically tells him, I'm different, before leaving him to die, in cave far, far away land, and, that my friends called absolute peak David luck. Finally, David tracks down his mom. Plot twist, the Twilight chick is his sister, and their mother is a paladin. She warns him she's coming after him. David, in his one brain cell wisdom, gives his mom a hug, grabs Millie, and teleports away, leaving the chaos behind. And that, folks, is how a rookie with 0 skills, 1 brain cell, and an obscene amount of movie luck manages to defeat trained, experienced enemies and survive.